What's up, guys? This is Tai Zen. With me today, I got David Fong. Say hello.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We're all happy, guys, because the cryptocurrency market has gone up to $375 billion as we're speaking.
13,000.
Yeah, and Bitcoin's above 13,500 now. I think it is, right? Anyway, guys, so that's why we're smiling from ear to ear, guys. And if you started in Bitcoins and cryptocurrency investing over 4 years ago, you'd be smiling your ass off too right now. Okay, so anyway, speaking of investing and smiling your ass off, right? So David said that, hey Ty, you know, you've been in this cryptocurrency investing for a while now, and things have changed a lot in the last 4 years. So
they keep changing. So.
Yeah, they keep changing, and he suggested that I make a video and update the community on all the ways that I know of that you can invest in blockchains and cryptocurrencies. So I made a quick list with David, and there's 13 ways to do it. Okay, I'm going to start off with the easiest, quickest way, and then I'm going to transition and go all the way up to the most difficult way to invest in cryptocurrencies. Now, obviously, the easier it is, the less profit potential it is, and the less risk it is. And then the more difficult it is, obviously, the more profit potential there is, okay? And the more risk it is, and the more work is involved, okay?
But the most important thing is really to get started.
Yeah, to get started. Okay, so I made the list for David, so he's gonna tell me what number one, and I'll rattle off everything that I know so that you guys, it'll help you guys get started, okay? So what's the first one?
All right, the first one is just to buy Bitcoins.
Okay, yeah. So the first and the easiest way out of the 13 ways that I'm gonna share with you guys is to just go and buy some Bitcoins and get that. That is the easiest way, right? And what did I put down? You can get that from an ATM, from an instant exchange, like Shapeshift or Changelly, or right now, I guess just recently I found out that Bread Wallet is also by the Bread Wallet.
So right on the app, you can download the app, and right there you can use US dollars and buy.
Yeah.
Bitcoins.
So make sure that you use the Bread app that is made by Aaron Voisin, I think is his name. Okay. So that's like one of the better apps, wallet apps out there, and it allows you to buy the Bitcoins very quickly, right? So that's the easiest way. Number one is to buy Bitcoins through an ATM, a instant exchange, or you can use a major exchange such as Coinbase.com or Gemini. Okay.
Right, and those give you access to not just Bitcoins, but you can get Ethereum, and like you start dabbling in the altcoins.
Absolutely. So that's the easiest way. Number two way to make money or to invest into blockchains and cryptocurrencies is to volunteer for the cryptocurrency. So, for example, back in the end of 2013, I found out about Bitcoins in 2012, and then in 2013, I bought my first Bitcoins, and then at the end of 2013, I started to notice that Bitcoin was not the only cryptocurrency on the market. There were other cryptocurrencies on the market as well that were a clone of Bitcoin, and at that time, I decided to invest in a cryptocurrency called NXT. Back then, it was called NEX. But when I got involved, I started calling it NXT, and just we started rebranding it into NXT instead of NEX, because that was very confusing in English. Okay, so what happened was, at that time, I bought a very small amount of NXT tokens, and I spent the majority of my time, day and night, volunteering to help the public understand this new blockchain technology. Back then, it was considered like Bitcoin 2.0. because it was the first, like all the other cryptocurrencies outside of Bitcoin were just a clone or a knockoff of Bitcoin. And NXT was the first official non-clone. It was not a clone, it was like a new blockchain software and code that was built completely from scratch by an individual named BC Next.
Okay,
right?
So when you're saying volunteering for crypto, you basically just go.
Yeah, so I started. I started making YouTube videos to interview the people that were involved into the NXT about NXT. Mm-hmm. So I started making video tutorials to show people how to transfer the NXT tokens and all that.
Educating the public, showing some value for that cryptocurrency.
Yeah, just basically everything that I was learning about NXT, I would just make a video about it. And all that, and because the people that own the NXTs, they appreciated the fact that I was helping to spread the word and educate the public about NXT, right? They did not pay me to do that. I just volunteered to do that. And what happened was they saw that I was a serious volunteer, and what they did was they donated me some NXT.
Oh, they just gave it to you.
Yeah, like a shitload of NXT back then, like a lot. Okay, enough to buy me a couple of houses now.
All right.
Okay, especially with the recent run-up. So based on those donations that I received, I donated the bulk of it when me and those guys, some of the other NXT volunteers, when we started the NXT Foundation, I donated a massive portion of the NXT tokens that I received to the foundation. After I was not able to help with the volunteer for NXT anymore, there was a period of time there where my father-in-law had open heart surgery, so I had to go help him, and I could not focus on helping
on the project.
On the project anymore.
Right.
So I gave a large portion of those NXT tokens to the rest of the guys that were still running the NXT Foundation, and they use it to help promote and educate the public about the NXT blockchain. But I still had some personal donations that I kept, a small amount, and that small amount has turned into a big enough amount now in terms of US dollar wise to get me a new house in Southern California if necessary.
So to recap with volunteering, you invest the time.
Yeah, I invest my time instead of money. Instead of US dollars, I invested my time to help educate the public about the project and promote the project.
Become part of the community, show value. And, if they appreciate it, then...
Yeah, there always will. There's always big whales that appreciate what you're doing, simply because a lot of times the guys that have big money, or the whales, they either don't have the time or they don't want to be public. So they rather remain private, and if they see you doing it, right, they'll either donate you some tokens from the project, or you can contact them and ask them, hey man, can you help me get a new camera so that I can shoot better videos, or hey, can you help me pay for a laptop or a tripod or a phone camera or a wireless microphone system so when I speak at a conference. And most of them will do that.
Yeah.
Most of them will do that. And then once you start doing that, you get a name out. So people started knowing that I was a reliable person. I was not a scammer. I was a public figure that can be trusted. So they would ask me to make other videos for their channels, right? And they didn't pay me or nothing back then. I never got paid for any of that stuff. I just did it as a volunteer, and I put up my donation addresses on my site at that time, on my videos and on my website. And if somebody donated it, they donated it. And if not,
I mean, there isn't really an expectation.
Yeah,
it's you put it out there, people find some value.
If you put out enough value out there, somebody's going to take care of you.
And you're learning something at the same time,
exactly.
Right? So
it's
all good.
So that's the second way, right?
All right, so let's move on to the third way.
The third way to invest into Bitcoins, blockchains, and cryptocurrencies is to work for the tokens. So like right now, there's two parts to the Ethereum blockchain, right? There's one part that is the nonprofit side. That's called the Ethereum Foundation,
right? And
their job is to build the open source Ethereum blockchain software.
Right, the protocol.
The protocol. And then the other part of Ethereum is what's called Consensus, and they're located out of New York. They're headquartered out of New York City, and they are responsible for building the for-profit side. And right now, if you go to the last time I checked on their careers page, they have like 400 job positions open, right? And they have like over $1 billion, so they got a ton of money to pay for staffing.
Right. They're trying to increase the adoption of Ethereum.
Yeah, their goal is to promote the use and adoption of Ethereum blockchain, so you can work for a cryptocurrency project, or you can work for a foundation, or you can work for a nonprofit or a for-profit organization to promote their blockchain, and you can get paid for that. So I know several guys right now, and if you're an engineer, you're a web designer, you're in sales, you're in marketing, you're in social media, any kind of skill that you have, there is some cryptocurrency project out there that will hire you, right, and pay you for your efforts. So if I was a software engineer, or if I was a community social media manager, and I went to apply to work for these places, I would request, like, pay me half in US dollars, and then pay me the other half in your tokens.
Right. The whole point of this piece is that for whatever it is you're going to be doing, whatever service you perform, you're willing now to accept
the tokens for the cryptocurrency token from the company that you're working for, or the project you're working for, instead of accepting US dollars or Euro dollars or pound or yen. Okay, so that's the third way to invest and make money in Bitcoins, blockchains, and cryptocurrencies. Now, the fourth way to do it is, what do I have there?
So next on the list here, we've got the ICO pre-sale.
Okay, so people talk about investing into ICOs, and what I want you guys to understand is this, is that there are different stages that you can invest into an ICO, and that will give you guys a different level of risk and reward. Okay, so the first stage is the pre-sale stage. During the pre-sale stage, that is something that only started happening in 2017. Before that, LeonFood.com and I did not see any pre-sales existing. There were so many ICOs that sold out, and they would come to the market and they would grow 5x, 10x immediately, and people would jump on it, and they would sell out like within a few minutes. Like Golem sold out within a few minutes. There's several other projects like that that sold out.
They all sold out really quickly.
They sold out really quickly, and so what happened was that they started doing pre-sales to get investors on, and some of the projects wanted to say, hey, they wanted to be able to get an idea of how much money they're going to raise very early on, so that they don't, so they have a better idea how much money they can raise, and they would do a pre-sale and offer like a 10, 20, 30, 50% discount to anybody that participated in the pre-sale, and you can make money by buying it at a 50% discount, and when they have a public sale, then you can turn around and sell it when it's traded, right, and make that 50% spread. So basically, if you buy the token in the public sale, if it's $1, and then you get that token for 50 cents in the pre-sale, then you made 50 cent, 100% profit before it even goes to the market.
So to sum that up,
so that's more of an arbitrage strategy.
An arbitrage opportunity.
Yeah, so it's not really trading.
Basically before the big public sale. So you're kind of showing them, even before you go public, we're willing to invest to give them a better idea, and in return they give you a discount. Right.
So during the pre-sale, that's the advantage. However, that's not something that is the disadvantage of that pre-sale, investing during the pre-sale, is that it doesn't last very long. That's not a long-term strategy, okay? So because of that, I'm not a big fan of the pre.
But it's absolutely something you can do.
It's something. There's a lot of people that are going for like a quick, short-term burst, and they're going for that. I'm not. Like, if it's available, and if I'm getting into it, I'll jump into it simply because a lot of times they offer it to us because we're a media channel. But other than that,
you don't necessarily go seek them out.
No, I don't necessarily go seek them out. And there's times when I miss the pre-sale because I was slow or for whatever reason, and it doesn't even bother me. I continue to invest in the project anyway. In other words, I don't rely. My investing strategy does not rely, or I should say our investing strategy, because you do the same thing also. Our investing strategy is not dependent on making money during the pre-sale. If it does, that's just a bonus, but that's not, even if you make that 50% or 100% gain, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for projects that give us a 10x, 20x, 100x.
Some projects with some longevity.
Some projects that, a year, 2 years from now, we can see that it's going to grow 10, 20x. I mean, to me, that's just a waste of time to jump into an ICO pre-sale just to make 50%. That's not to say it's wrong, but that's just not our style. But we do know there are people out there that do that. Okay, it's just not our cup of tea. Okay, so that's the fourth way to make money in blockchains, bitcoins, and cryptocurrencies.
Which leads us to our fifth way, which is really just participating in the ICO public sale.
Yeah. So the next way to do it is to participate in the public sale, and the public sale has a lot less risk. In my opinion, the rewards are slightly less, but there's a lot less risk because in the public sale, they usually have a public address that you can send all your Bitcoins and Ethers to, and you can tell where everyone's Ethers and Bitcoins went. Whereas in the pre-sale, it's usually just one private address, and you're not sure if the owner of that project is going to receive your Bitcoins and Ethers and run off with it.
Right.
And there's not much, there's a little bit higher risk because if it only has, $10, $20, $30,000 or $100,000, it's hard to go to the exchanges and argue for them to stop the transactions, right, or freeze those Bitcoins. But if you participate in the public sale and there's $5, $10, $20 million,
there's a lot more people,
there's a lot more people
involved.
Yeah, so there's a lot more eyeballs checking that wallet address. There's, if the exchanges see that, somebody just got hacked for 50 million or something, they may make an effort to try to help out. Whereas if you lose like 5 or 10,000 or something like a small amount in the pre-sale, they may not do that.
Right.
And that's not a guarantee or something,
right.
Okay? I'm saying that, but that doesn't mean it's a guarantee that the exchanges will help out in case the project gets hacked, okay? But that's the downside. The advantage is that that by the time they do the public sale, the project has raised pretty much, is more than likely the project will raise enough money.
Right.
Because usually they try to raise a big chunk during the pre-sale, and then by the time they get to the public sale, they have enough money to complete the project or make the project successful. Okay? Because you invest into an ICO, you don't want it to fail and not raise enough money and not be able to finish their software project and fail also. So the advantage of the pre-sales, the rewards a little bit less, but the advantage is that
so for the public sale,
more likelihood that the project has enough money to succeed, to complete their vision and their goals. Okay, so that's the what is that? That's
so that's number 5.
That's number 5 is the ICO public sale.
Okay, so number 6 would be post ICO trading. So it's past the ICO stage, right?
So what that means is that the post ICO, the trading is where the ICO is over. They already raised the money they were looking for, or they raised all the money they could, and now the tokens are on the exchanges and it's ready to be traded. And now that's when you come in and you buy it. So obviously you're going to miss out on the ICO price and all the other stuff. Now, so you might not get the best discount available, like in the public sale or the pre-sale, right? However, there is an advantage, is that that these guys did not go and rip everyone off.
Right. They didn't run off.
They didn't run off with everyone's money.
Right.
That if you're scared that they're going to run off with your money, then just wait until the tokens are listed on the exchange to be traded. Okay. Now this is another advantage of buying the tokens after it's on the exchange. The advantage is that when it's on the exchange, that it actually got listed.
Right.
So some of the projects, for example, let me think of like Tyrion, right? The pre-sale was at a really good discount, and then the public sale was also a good price.
Right.
But after it got the ICO was done, they could not get it listed right away on the exchange. So people were selling it on Ether Delta, right? And what happened was, because there's very low liquidity on Ether Delta, the price dropped, and then by the time that it got listed on Bittrex or one of the exchanges like that, I get Licky or on Bittrex, I forget. Once it got listed on there, people got panicked and they started selling it and dumped it even more. So after the ICO was done and it was on it's on the exchange and listed for trading, you can actually buy it at like 50, 60, 70% below the ICO price, below the pre-sale price. So you got a better discount than the people that bought it at the pre-sale. And on that particular one, like for example, on that particular one, that's what I did. right? So I just waited, because during that frenzy of ICO frenzy, there were too many projects coming out, and there was just too many people, raising ridiculous amounts of money. So I said, hey, during this period of time, we were just going to sit out and wait until it gets listed on the exchange after the price crashes 50-60%. I like the project, but I don't want to be paying that high of a price for it.
Right, the price at the ICO. Now, I'm glad you brought up liquidity, because there is another advantage of getting it at the ICO in that, it kind of depends on how they're structured, but that's the time when you can actually buy the quantities that you want at the price, at a predefined price.
So yeah, you're right. One of the advantages buying the tokens during the ICO pre-sale and the public sale is that you have a better chance. Let's say if you want to buy $100,000 or $500,000 worth of those tokens, you have a better chance of buying that there than you do on the after the ICO is done.
And they appear on the exchange. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah, it's a trade-off. But in the future, whenever we have the trade desk, right?
Yeah.
Whenever we set up the OTC, we get our money service business licensing for the OTC, the Taifu OTC trade desk. Then we'll be able to better
to
facilitate
serve those
that.
liquidity needs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So we'll be able to provide liquidity for that in the future, hopefully in the beginning of 2018, right? So that's the advantage of using buying it in the post ICO, because you know for sure it's going to be listed on the exchange. Right. And if for some reason it's not listed, you may not want to buy it.
Exactly.
Because whatever you thought, for some reason the exchange don't want to list it, so it's not going to have the value that you thought it had. Okay.
Okay. So that gets us past all these the ICO ways of investing in cryptocurrencies. Now we get into number 7 here, which is becoming an ICO advisor. Okay. So there are becoming an ICO advisor, right? Is where you join a project and they want to use your name or your reputation or your brand expertise.
Or your expertise or your knowledge or your experience, right, to help them better succeed at their project, right? Sometimes if you have, like, let's say if you have Vitalik Buterin's name, the co-founder of Ethereum, let's say if he puts his name on a project, the chances are it's going to raise more money. Right? So if Leon and I, put our name on a project, right, then more than likely that project is going to do a lot better, simply because the public sees that, Taifu supports this project, it must be legit, and if they're going to put their money into it, right, it must be a legit project.
So that ICO is leveraging your name,
our name,
your
our
reputation,
brand,
and by the same token, you wouldn't be associated with the project. And any advisor wouldn't be associated with the project that they didn't really believe in.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, we're going to do our best to do a due diligence to make sure that we don't get involved into a project that is a total scam or something. Now, at the time of this video, guys, if you're watching this, right, we are not a public advisor on any project, on any cryptocurrency project as of the time of the making of this video. Maybe in the future it'll change, but as of right now, if anyone claims that we are a public advisor for them, that is bullshit. That is not true, and you need to check with us and let us know if somebody puts that on their website that we are publicly their advisors. Okay, so that is not accurate, and so if you guys see that, please let us know so we can get that corrected. Okay.
So now we get into
hold on, because people are going to want to know what the potential is. Usually, the advisors, they'll get like a 0.25% or a 0.5% of the tokens supply. So let's say there's 100 million tokens, or let's say there's 100 million tokens, right? If somebody comes on as advisor, what the project would normally do is pay them like a 0.25% or something like that. So it depends upon what they are advising about. Some advisors cost more because they're doing very specialized work. And then some advisors, they don't get paid that much, as the advisory fee is not that high, simply because it's just their name that they're using.
It just depends on what they bring to the table.
The person's actually not doing anything. Okay, so that's the ICO Advisor. That's not easy to do because you actually have to have a reputation. You have to have a brand, and we're starting to get into the ways to invest in cryptocurrencies that get more and more difficult now.
Right, they're a little more sophisticated.
Yeah, starting with the ICO Advisor, it starts to get more difficult. Okay.
Okay. All right, we're ready for the next one, which is an active crypto investor, and we kind of term this like a volunteer advisor.
Yeah. So this is an active crypto investor is what we currently do. So we invest into a cryptocurrency project, right, and then we utilize our channel, our marketing resources, our experience, our branding, our name and everything, and we go out there and we help educate the public about the cryptocurrency project that we're in. Most of the time, the reason why we do this is because most of the time a project that is good with the technology has good software engineers building the blockchain, but they don't have a marketing background or a public education background, or they're too nervous to speak in front of a live audience. So because of that, we feel that it's worth it for us to invest into that project, and then we go out there and we educate the public on how that project is doing well.
Yeah, so we see that there's some great software that they're developing, and if there's a need there that we can kind of help fulfill, and we want them to succeed. We think it's great what they're doing.
So for example, right, like the props project. We're driving from San Diego to Los Angeles right now, to Santa Monica, to help educate the public about the props project. Now that's a project that we're invested in, so they didn't pay us to go promote them or anything. It's just something that we believe in. So because of that, we are going out there to help educate the public and to also meet our fans, our subscribers, and things like that. So that's something that's fun to do anyway. And obviously we have a bias about the props project, guys, simply because we are video content creators, and we could be wrong about it, but it solves a lot of the problems that are facing video content creators like us right now. So we like to put our money where our mouth is at, and we support projects that are making an effort to solve the problems in the video content creation world. Okay, that's what we call a active investor or an active crypto volunteer investor. That's how we do it. Okay.
Okay. So next up, we've got the clone a crypto. All right, we're getting a little more sophisticated.
Yeah, cloning a crypto is a little bit harder, guys. Cloning a crypto means that you are going out there and you are going to take like for example, like Charlie Lee, the inventor of Litecoin. That's what he did. He went and took the Bitcoin code, and it creates a new block every 10 minutes, and he just tweaked changed the parameters of software to create a new block every 1 minute. And then instead of using the SHA-256 hash, he used scripts or something like that. And that's all he did. He just took a existing block
code that was available on GitHub.
Yeah, he changed a few tweaks, a few numbers that he liked, and then he released it to the public, and that's it. Now, the downside to that is that you actually have to be a software engineer to be able to do that. So I'm not able to do that. I don't know if you're able to do that or not. I'm sure if you spend some time with your computer background, you'll be able to do it. I know Leon can do that, but that takes a lot of work because you have to once you release the code to the public, you have to create a community behind it to actually grow the blockchain.
Right, so beyond just the software engineering skills, you really need to build a community because we know it's not just the technology, it's the community around it. Right?
Absolutely. Okay, so now that's much more difficult, guys. If you don't have a software engineering background, I do not recommend you guys do that, okay? All right, what's the next one?
All right, next on the list is we've got airdropping.
Okay, so the airdrop is another advanced and very difficult method of making money in blockchains and cryptocurrencies, especially if you're not a software engineer, okay? You gotta leave this kind of money-making strategy to the software engineers that understand how to clone, how to create a fork of an existing blockchain, okay?
Right.
And give the tokens of the new blockchain to the old existing users of the old blockchain. This is not an easy thing to do, but here are some examples, like the guys that created Bitcoin Cash, the guys that created Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Platinum, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Uranium. You know, I'm sure there's going to be all these fancy periodic table
Stellar
elements.
Lumens is another guy, right?
Yeah.
Stellar guys.
Yeah. So you know, I think Byteball did an airdrop.
Byteball,
so
right.
basically what an airdrop is, you take the existing blockchain and you just tell everyone that, hey, on this date and time, we are going to create a fork and give everybody new coins in this new blockchain. And so they use the same private key, and that's the key that makes it an airdrop versus cloning a blockchain, is that the same private key that controls the tokens on the old blockchain also control the tokens on the new blockchain, right, in order for it to be an airdrop. Otherwise, it's just you're cloning a blockchain like Charlie Lee did with Litecoin.
So for the end user, what that means is you've already had coins or cryptocurrency in a certain cryptocurrency, and after this airdrop, you'll end up having some on the new chain, and you didn't have to do anything for that to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that is a very lucrative, very extremely profitable way. Like, if you know how to do that, you can pretty much become like an instant multi-millionaire within just literally just a few months, in less than 3 months.
Right.
Like, doing that, you know, that's probably the first strategy that can turn you into an instant multi-millionaire within less than 90 days.
Right.
Literally. You know, that's the only project method I know of right now. I mean, obviously I'm going to talk about the other three. What's the next one? Number 11?
So number 11, we've got build an ICO on top of someone else's blockchain.
Okay, so a lot of these ICOs, such as, like, for example, like Matchpool, like there's a social media, you know, kind of quote unquote a networking dating app, right? That's built on top of the Ethereum blockchain. So what they did was they issued some ERC20 tokens, and they distributed those tokens among everyone. And those ERC20 tokens are built on top of the Ethereum network. So they did not build, so Matchpool did not build their own tokens, right? They built it on top of the
right,
Ethereum
so they
network.
already leveraged the existing
exactly.
software that was there, and they just added something specific to their needs.
Yeah, and like another example, another project that we are currently researching right now is the Gladius Dot Io Project.
Right.
So they're very similar to Golem, right? Golem's at a 200 million market cap. Gladius is at, they're trying to raise 12.5 million, which puts them at, like, I think somewhere around 15 or 17 million market cap. So we're looking at that project because if they're able to do similar to what Golem is doing, then, you know, there's a potential for it to go up to 200 million market cap.
Absolutely.
So that's another thing we're looking at. So the guys, the young 19, 20-year-old computer science students from the Washington, D.C. area that's working on the Gladius project, right? Those kids, if they are able to build and launch, they already launched the alpha, so that's good.
Yeah.
So that means that
there's actually software out there that they're
moving
testing,
along,
right?
Yeah. And so if those guys can build the software, right, and to do what they claim, right, then they are, like, I think they raised over $6 million already in the last few weeks, right? So those guys, when they finish their ICO, right, and they release the tokens, right, for their software, which they already have, and, you know, once they finish the crowd sale, they're going to become instant multi-millionaires.
Right.
Right, and that took them less than probably, you know, 3 or 4 months. But they're computer science and software engineers. I'm not, so I cannot do something like that.
Right.
All I can do is just buy up some of their tokens and invest into their project. Okay. So the other thing too is this, is that excuse me. The other thing you gotta keep in mind too is that there's a huge security issue when you do that. The risk is that, you know, you might become a multi-millionaire almost overnight, but the downside to that is that everyone is trying to hack your system, your network, so you could possibly lose everything. You know what I'm saying? So unless you're a dedicated software engineer, right, and you're really good at what you're doing, you should not be messing with that. You know, obviously these guys are computer science students, so they understand computer science.
Yeah, I mean, they're working on a product that is fighting against DDoS attacks, right? So they have the expertise to take on this kind of project and the risks that are associated with it.
Exactly. You know, I'm not going to take some kind of risk like that. You know, I'm just going to invest in their tokens and buy their tokens. I'm not going to try to, what do you call that? Try to start an ICO like what they're doing, okay? Because I'm not qualified to do that, okay? I would surround myself with the team to do that, but I would not personally go out there and attempt to do that myself.
It would be foolish and naive for you to do so.
Okay, so that's another way to make money in blockchains and cryptocurrencies is to build a ICO on top of someone else's blockchain. Okay. So number 12. Here,
we've got convert your business, your existing business, into a blockchain-based business.
Okay. So for example, right, there are several projects out there right now. The most obvious one is the one that we're going to speak at right now. It's the Props project by a company called Unow.com. And what Unow.com is, they were like, I think, one of the first mobile live streaming app, right? And they sell these virtual gifts on their platform. So if you are a audience member on their Unow.com platform and you listen to a broadcaster and you like what they're broadcasting and you want to support them and to continue broadcasting, what you can do is you can buy these virtual cakes and ice creams and gifts and donate it to your broadcaster.
Right.
And let's say that you donate an ice cream that costs $10 that you bought with US dollars or with euros, right, with fiat currency. Then what happens is Unow.com will give the broadcaster 60% of that sale, and then they keep 40%. And they've been doing that for a long time now. They've been pulling in like $2 million a month in virtual gift sales.
Right.
Okay.
So they've been operating for several years now, and these are more than just likes. These are
monetary gifts.
Monetary gifts.
Yeah.
So you really like their content. You want them to
succeed,
produce more content.
Yeah. So what you have to do to buy those virtual gifts is that you have to take your credit card and buy some gold bars. And what they're going to do is they're going to replace those gold bars with a cryptocurrency token, which gives it now. The advantage of that is that before, in the past, in the Unow.com legacy system, the gold bars have value inside that network, but not outside of it. But by changing it to a cryptocurrency token, the beauty of it is that now, not only does it have value inside the ecosystem for Unow, but now they also have value outside the ecosystem once you convert it to Bitcoins and to US dollars. So that's the big takeaway that people need to understand about that. Okay, so that right there is an example, is the 12th way to make money in blockchains and cryptocurrencies, is to actually incorporate the blockchain somehow into your business. Okay, into your current existing business.
Right, and for this example, it's just a very natural fit. People have already been buying these gold bars, and with those, the ice cream cones and the other wonderful things, the super likes.
Exactly. So because of that, that makes it a lot simpler to transition that from buying gold bars to just buying props tokens. Okay.
All right. Finally, okay, we're on number 13 here. There is building a blockchain from scratch.
Okay, now this is the hardest thing to do, is building a blockchain from scratch, right? Not too many people can do that. You have Dan Larimer, he's building the EOS blockchain from scratch, and then you have Charles Hoskinson, who is building the Cardano blockchain from scratch. Those are not easy to do. You actually have to be a real computer science mathematician, cryptographer, all this into one to be able to do something like that. That's not something that an average person can do. That is one of the most extremely difficult things to do in the world, in software engineering, okay?
And this is far beyond, just cloning an existing
or airdropping or anything.
Right? This is starting from zero. And fully understanding all the mechanisms that work in this distributed system, not just the traditional client server that computer scientists are trained in now. This is an entirely new arena.
Because your traditional software like Google or Facebook is designed on what's called a client-server model, meaning that I'm the client and I connect to their servers, pull data down to my computer or my smartphone, and then I view that data and I utilize that data. Okay. On a blockchain, it's based on a peer-to-peer system where everybody has a piece of the software and everybody is controlling, is a participant in the network. So it's not on a client-server model anymore. It's on a peer-to-peer network, and that's significantly magnitudes harder to do than the traditional software that everyone's accustomed to.
And there aren't best practices that have been developed. Yeah. It's new.
Yeah, so you have to be the first one out there to go do it, and you can get screwed up if you don't do it right. Okay, so that's the downside to that. And so that's all 13, right?
Yeah.
So the first, just a quick summary, guys. Number one is to just buy the Bitcoins from an ATM, instant exchange, major exchange, or an altcoin exchange. Number two is volunteer for cryptocurrency. Number three is to work for a cryptocurrency token. And then number four is to participate in the ICO pre-sale. Number five is to participate in the ICO public sale. Number six is to participate in the post-ICO trading. And then number seven is to become a ICO advisor, a public advisor. And then number eight, right, is to become an active crypto investor like we are and invest into the project, but also utilize your marketing and your branding and your video content creation skills to help, educate the public about the project and bring awareness to the project, right? The number nine is to clone a cryptocurrency blockchain and then build another one like the creator of Litecoin did. By cloning Bitcoin, he created Litecoin, or like Jackson Palmer did by taking Litecoin and then cloning it and creating Dogecoin out of it. All right. So number 10 is to do an airdrop where you fork off the blockchain like Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold did. Number 11 is to build an ICO on top of another blockchain like Golem, like Gladius, things like that, right? And then number 12 is to convert your business into a blockchain-based business, similar to what the Props project is doing. Number 13 is to build a blockchain from scratch, like Dan Larimer, like Ethereum, like Vitalik Buterin, who created Ethereum, and then like Charles Hoskinson, who built the Cardano platform. So I hope that those 13 ways help you guys understand the 13 major ways to make money in blockchains and cryptocurrencies. Thanks for watching this video. If you guys like it, give us a thumbs up, right? And subscribe to www.cryptocurrency.market/newsletter. Make sure you go there, put your name and email in, and get on to our newsletter and our mailing list, and we'll send you new videos like this when we make them. You can also follow me on Twitter at HeyTaiZen, all one word, at HeyTaiZen, and I'll see you guys in the next video.